Let's get it rolling with another episode of the Black and Gold Report here on the UNCP Sports Network. Busy week here at UNC Pembroke. Football wrapping up their homestand. Volleyball back at Lumbee Guarantee Bank Court. We have our weekly sit-down with football head coach Shane Richardson. And we have our tiebreaker round to see who's headed to the championship of the Teammate Challenge. Let's get started and turn our attention to football versus Tusculum College.
Braves looking to bounce back from the loss last week against Catawba College in Game 2 of a two-game homestand at Grace P. Johnson. This is on the opening kickoff, however. JoJo Span taking it up the sideline, and look at how quickly he breaks through, but gets tackled by the kicker. He fumbles the ball, loses it. The Pioneers recover, and on the ensuing drive, touchdown here to Evan Gates from Alex Ogle. First touchdown pass from Ogle in 3 games, and the Pioneers set the tone early. And with that swing in their favor, the Pioneers tried something interesting. They went for 2 on this one after trying to throw the Braves off with their normal PAT formation, and they ended up converting. 8-0 the score started out, but Josh Sheridan did it again. Look at this, bouncing off of defender to defender from side to side into the end zone to pick up the score. Just remember, the athletic touchdown, the acrobatic touchdown he had last week against Catawba. That's another play you'll be seeing on the highlight reels throughout the rest of the season. So with the extra point, it brought the Braves within 1, but the Pioneers, unfortunately, weren't done there. Touchdown run here from Maxwell Joseph, his 6th of the season, the South Athletic Conference leader. And QB Alex Ogle on the 1, sneaking it in himself to help put the game away. Braves fall 31-10. Here's head coach Shane Richardson following the loss.
I think the biggest thing with our team right now is we're not executing. I really challenged our guys in terms of just the morale and them understanding that they need to attack the process more. And what I mean by that is they've got to attack every detail of what we talk about and what we do. And we're just not a good team right now. I mean, that's just the bare bones about it. And we're extremely young. We're banged up, and there's a lot of maturity and growth that needs to take place. And we're going to try to do that as quickly as we can here for the last 6 games. But we need guys to be able to step up and do that. We need guys challenging amongst each other to do that. I thought there were some really good individual performances tonight. I don't question our effort. I just think our team is in a place right now where we need a little bit more of some emotional morale boosters within the guys, and we need to have guys be able to step up and challenge that, and so that we can execute better. And so you can't come out and have 9 penalties. We let them control the clock way too much, and defensively we could not really stop them on 1st and 2nd downs. And then I thought offensively I thought we were capable of moving the ball and then actually scoring some points. But what happened was we'd mess our own rhythm up and just kind of shoot ourselves in the foot. And then obviously, you just can't win games if you only score 10 points. And so, I thought all 3 phases just didn't execute like they needed to. And, we just got a lot of work to do. And that's just the bottom line.
So that's the final, 31-10. Braves have only scored 19 points combined in their last 2 games. Start of a 3-game road trip against Newberry and the Wolves in just a couple of hours, though. Head to uncpbraves.com to follow along live. Turning to volleyball.
Braves looking to pick up their first Peach Belt Conference season win after falling in their first 3. They take on Georgia College in this set, and they get things going pretty quickly. Anna Hines with a beautiful block here to get the Braves started, and they started to go on a bit of a run. Braves have the Bobcats doubled up here, and a beautiful block from April Tankersley, the freshman, makes it 15-7 in the first set. But the Braves weren't able to hold, and the Bobcats, well, they fought back. Georgia College clawed back to make it 17-16 in the first set, and a great attempt at a save here from Casey Bell and April Tankersley on the miscommunication off the kill to set up the free ball, but the Bobcats were able to put it away, and from that point, they kept the rest of the match in their favor, the Bobcats sweeping the Braves 3-0. But the Braves were able to take the momentum from that loss into the match against Hiawassee College and pull off a 3-set sweep of their own. Here's head coach Ellen McGill after the pair of matches.
We've been really focusing on our defense and getting after the ball, really scrapping, and I think we did a much better job of executing in both matches today. We've really been, just trying to get the work done in practice so we can get it done in games, and it's starting to pay off.
So the Braves split the homestand against the Bobcats and Tigers, but they're still winless in the Peach Belt Conference with a bit of break in conference play upcoming. They won't have another Peach Belt Conference game until October 3rd at Francis Marion, so they'll have plenty of time to regroup. Last but not least, it's time for soccer.
Braves and the number 2 team in the country, the Columbus State Cougars, squaring off at Columbus State, and it was a nail-biter. Alexis Pittman finding the back of the net here on an assist by Carly Rochelle. Only in the 59th minute. That entire first half went without much action. The second half, though, that's where all it was. The 66th minute, though, Kimmy May able to get one past Gina Ryan here, and this game is tied. Braves need to find a way to bounce back if they want to contend with this number 2 team, but they just aren't able to. They're trying to clear it here, and a pass from Maddie Peterson somehow finds Olivia Jarrell in the center of the box. She just taps it over top of Gina Ryan's head. Braves fall 2-1 to the number 2 team in the country. They fall to 1-1 in their Peach Belt Conference season, 3-3 overall. They're finally back home later today against Georgia Southwestern. That's going to take place in just a few minutes at 1 o'clock from Lumbee River EMC Stadium. Head to uncpbraves.com to catch it live, folks. You don't want to miss it.
Busy day here at UNC Pembroke, so we've still got plenty more to get to. Up next, our weekly sit-down with football head coach Shane Richardson, so stick around right here on the UNCP Sports Network. Back in on the Black and Gold Report, Matt Sabatas here with you from our Old Main studios. It's time now for our weekly sit-down with football head coach Shane Richardson. 4 weeks in the books, week 5 against Newberry coming up in just a couple of hours. So without any further ado, let's hand it off to the head coach. All right, Coach. Well, similar to the way the Elizabeth City State game started, very early on turnover. That game favored your team. This recent game against Tusculum favored Tusculum. Do you think that set the tone early as it did in the Elizabeth City State game?
Honestly, I thought our team was still in good spirits after that first opening kickoff fumble. I thought what it did was it kind of let us know, like, hey, we're fine because we got a great return out of it. But unfortunately, we lost the ball there at the end. And so guys are positive. We were still okay. And, I don't think that had too much of a negative factor in the opening stages there.
Well, talking about positivity, just in general, it is a tough stretch, 2 straight. How, as a coach, do you continue to instill confidence and positivity into your team through practices?
Yeah, I think it starts with me, and it starts from the top down. And me as the leader, I've got to make sure that I'm exuding confidence and positivity and making sure that our staff then knows how important that is so that they can take on that same notion, and then they be able to go out and really bleed that into the kids as well. And so, I think we've all got to make sure that we stay on the same mission, the same vision, and the same process. And, everybody's got to stay on the same page. And so if you leave room for error, if you don't explain something, and if you're not out in front of something here as these weeks start to go by in this stretch, then that's when things could start to kind of fragment, and guys could fall victim to being negative or taken away in different areas. And so I think it just comes back to leadership, and I feel very comfortable with that. And,
well, that's the motto, we, us, our.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So we've all got to stay on the same page, and we're all in it together.
Now, with the number of carries, obviously the time of possession was somewhat heavily in favor of Tusculum. Is that a stat that you keep much of an eye on, considering the amount of time your defense was on the field?
Well, I think, what happens is we look at 4 categories, and one of them is running the ball. And we've got to be able to run the ball offensively to be able to do exactly what we're talking about, is, try to control the clock.
Exactly.
And you want to be able to not only control the clock, but also wear down the morale of the defense and of their team. And we got to be able to stop the run. And then you also look at third down. We got to get off the field on third down on defense. We got to be able to extend drives offensively on third down.
Exactly.
And so, you start looking at some of those factors and you're taking away opportunities or you're giving them opportunities. The other two factors are red zone touchdowns. They were 2 for 3, and we were only 1 for 1. That's good, but we got to be in the red zone more.
Exactly.
Okay?
Yeah.
And then you look at the turnovers, and on the day, you go 5 turnovers that we had, and we didn't get any from them. We didn't take the ball away from them at all. And so, the way that we described it as a staff was we're taking away 5 extra series that we should have the ball and giving them 5 extra on top of what they already have or what they deserve, really. Yeah. And so, there's kind of a 10 series swing right there if you look at it that way. It's a lot of opportunities that they have more of a chance to get on the field and score and to drive and keep the ball and things like that. And so, it's a tough deal when you can't win those categories. And obviously they are able to work the clock more and be a little bit more in control.
Now, silver linings on a lot of things, penalties. You guys kept it clean for probably the first 55 minutes or so of the game. It got a little handsy towards the end, but that can always be attributed to multiple other factors. But Tusculum was clearly having trouble. By the third quarter, they had already given you guys 100 yards full of penalties. Was that something you were proud of your team about, the ability for them to keep it clean through the first portion of the game?
Yeah, I think so. We focus on penalties every week, and we'll go over them as a staff after the game. We on Sundays, and then we go over them with our team on Monday nights. And so we try to really talk about not hurting ourselves and not giving away free yardage. I still thought we were still a little bit too many penalties. I feel like if we can be under 5, we need to be 4 or less. And that gives us an opportunity to not give away a lot of the extra yardage and things like that. But, I think over time, you've just got guys that need to learn technique better, learn discipline better, learn, pre-snap and post-snap penalties better. If something's not going on directly in between snap to whistle, you can't have that at all. Yeah. And so I think we just always got to strive to get better in that area too.
Now, looking ahead to next week, you're taking on Newberry. Maybe a bit unconventional, but after the 2-game homestand, you're going to be on the road for a little bit. Do you think it might be a little good for your team to get out of their comfort zone and into a facility they haven't been to for a little bit? Well,
I think so. I think taking the drive up to Elizabeth City, I really like the way that our team responded on the road, and I thought that was good for us. And so I anticipate that we'll be able to adjust well here coming into this stretch. And I like getting away from campus sometimes because you have a more focused team where there's not the campus environment.
Their mind goes away from the academics.
Exactly right, and we can kind of keep them all together either on the bus, in restaurants, or in the hotel. Yeah. And that's about the 3 places that you go, other than the stadium. Yeah. And so you get to control the atmosphere just a little bit more, and I think you just keep their focus a little bit better too.
Now, Newberry employs somewhat of a dual threat offense. They can pass the ball well and they can run the ball well. I think all 3 of their quarterbacks on the depth chart at least have some sort of rushing yardage on the season. How do you plan to work against that?
Yeah, I think they do a good job of keeping us on our toes, and that's how we're planning and preparing. And so, I think what we've got to do is we've got to be extremely sound in how we line up and just how we make our calls and adjustments, because they're going to give us a lot of different looks. And so I think the quarterbacks are dangerous. I think whenever you have potentially a 3-quarterback system or just a multiple quarterback system, you've got to adjust out there. Yeah. When you're on defense and you get into the flow of the game, there's some comfort in knowing the one guy at quarterback that you're going to see, and his strengths, his weaknesses. And then when you have to kind of account for 2 or 3, then it becomes a little bit more of a variety situation where you got to kind of switch mindsets here or there and to the next guy. But we're going to stay simple, and we want to make sure that our guys are playing fast and confident, and that's a big part of our game plan too, is to make sure that we know what we're doing and we're starting to master some of those things out there on Saturdays.
Now, on the offensive side of things, how confident are you in Dom's ability to assess his passing situations? Because obviously we saw in the game against Tusculum, he put together an excellent job, did throw 2 interceptions, but went through his progressions almost flawlessly a lot of the time.
Yeah, I really liked our offense. the way it was coming along there. Obviously, you can't turn the ball over. You got to be better on third downs, which we need to be better at. But I think Dom's really growing. He is in a good place where he's continually seeing different looks. He's continually making mistakes and failing at some things, which you need to do in order for growth to take place.
Yeah.
And that's the good thing about it. Now, it doesn't feel comfortable when those flaws and those mistakes show up, but I think he's in a good place right now. He, one of his strengths, and I've talked about this before, is just the ability for him to, kind of persevere throughout mistakes and the ups and downs of a game. And so I anticipate that he'll continue to do that even in weeks, during practice and preparation time. And, I think we're gonna make sure that we're always putting the best guy out there, and we're gonna feel comfortable as a coaching staff with, how the offense is being managed and how it's being ran. And I think Dom's doing a good job right now. And so he's got to continue to grow. He's got to continue to learn. And we continue to challenge him on things. But, I like where he's at for a guy that really only has 4 games underneath his belt.
Well, he's done pretty well for 4 games underneath his belt. Coach, we appreciate the time, as always.
Yeah.
Look forward to talking to you next week.
Thanks a lot, Matt.
Coming up next, we've got another edition of the Teammate Challenge. So keep it here, right here on the UNCP Sports Network. Welcome back into the Black and Gold Report here on the UNCP Sports Network, and it's time now for our favorite segment, the Teammate Challenge. Now, last week, we finally wrapped up the fall sports with soccer's Stacy and Christina, but we had a tie within the top 3. So we brought back in Michaela and Casey from the volleyball team alongside Alpha and Khalil from the football team for a tiebreaker round. Now, we're going about this round a little differently to even the playing field for the tiebreaker. We've brought in both teams at the same time, and we've got each of them answering the same set of questions. First team to pull ahead of the other is automatically declared the winner, so the stakes are high. Let's not waste any time and hand it off to Trevor.
You guys' first question is, what is your partner's favorite movie?
Oh, you got this.
Yes, you both got that correct. It and Girls Trip.
Y'all just saw that, didn't you?
All right.
That's funny.
Question number 2.
That's funny.
Favorite color?
Oh my God. What you mean?
Yup.
What you mean? Oh my God.
Yeah.
We do
Just
have a
look at
correct
yourself.
answer just to add to the pressure.
Just look at
for
yourself.
this.
What you mean?
Khalil must.
Does he get a time limit?
Just look at yourself.
Okay, correct.
Oh my gosh, this is ridiculous.
What would I do?
Question number 3.
Oh my god, they're cheating.
I feel it.
Food. Favorite food?
You know I like that pound.
No
Come on, I eat it all the
No
time.
conversations from Alpha.
I eat it all the time.
Oh.
On the bus, right?
Oh wow. We already have
Yep.
the correct answer.
I totally got this wrong. We lost.
Yeah,
Let's
take this
see.
L. Take this L.
You got
There should be like a time
You got a
limit.
couple seconds.
Alright.
Let's go.
Totally got that wrong.
Yes, you did. It was steak, not pizza.
Let's go!
Casey Bell and Michaela win
Let's
five.
go!
I already knew we were about to win. I had told
Hey,
my partner, like,
it's not.
let's get this
Girls
dub.
are
Let's
cool.
Let's get
go!
this dub. See y'all later.
How about them
Let's
apples?
go.
Thanks, Trevor. So, Casey and Michaela, they move on, and they'll square off against soccer's Stacy and Christina in the championship round. And since that was initially scheduled to be today before that tiebreaker, we'll give you a special treat, a double dose of the Teammate Challenge when we come back right here on the Black and Gold Report. Back in on the Black and Gold Report, our final segment before we say goodbye, but we've got a fun one coming your way. Stacy and Christina from the soccer team, it's round 1 of our championship of the Teammate Challenge. Let's hand it off to our reporter, Trevor Williams.
Stacy and Christina here from the soccer team. You guys ready? This is your chance to take home the championship.
We're nervous, but we're ready.
All right, you get to go first. Your clock is going to start after the first question. We've got Matt in here to help us out with the timing. What do you guys think after the first time you did? Is it going to get easier this time?
No,
No.
it's gonna get harder.
Okay.
We're gonna do it again.
That's probably a safe evaluation. So the clock will start after the first question. And here we go with the opening question. If Christina could be any famous person, living or dead, who would she be? A lot of silent focus. We've got an answer on one side. Christina's changing her answer. Let's see if this is correct. Yes, you guys agree on Angelina Jolie.
Oh my God,
if Stacy was ordering a pizza, what toppings would she want on that pizza? Hold it up a little higher, hold it up a little higher. Pepperoni pineapple. No, that is not a correct answer. What time does Christina usually get up in the morning?
Oh, I know this one.
Ooh, exact. 6:50. What is Stacy most fearful of? We've got some of those around here. Taking some time, adjusting. Yes, correct. That's 3. Does Christina have any allergies? If so, to what? Yep, turn it around. You guys can pass. You're passing it. Okay. Which parent is Stacy most similar to? Mom or dad? They both say mom. That's correct. Who is the last person that Christina sent a text to?
Oh.
Yes, that's correct. 5. Who would be most likely to survive the Hunger Games, Christina or Stacy? No, you guys both said each other, and that is the time with 5 correct answers. That's going to be pretty good. You guys are the first to go, so we're going to see if Mac and Casey Bell from the volleyball team can beat you guys. But how do you feel about that with 5?
We know each other better than that, I promise you guys. This is awful, but I'm so disappointed in us.
Friends for 12 years, is that right?
Yeah, 12.
All right, and you guys were begging for a chance to hug each other at the end because you said you do like each other at the end of the day. So
We love each other. I love you, Christina. You're a big girl.
that's fantastic. All right, great teammate work, and now we'll just have to wait and see if you guys can win.
Thank you. My favorite actress is Jennifer Lawrence. I told you
I know
that.
that doesn't mean you would survive.
Yes, it does.
No, it does not.
Yes, it does. Pineapple? That's you. Come on.
Your favorite fruit is pineapple, and so is mine.
on my pizza.
God.
Well, thank you, Trevor. We'll have to see how Michaela and Casey do next week for round 2 of the championship. We'd like to thank you for joining us on the Black and Gold Report today. Make sure to tune in for Braves soccer and Braves football later this afternoon. But until then, have a great rest of your day, folks. This has been Matt Sabatis for the UNCP Sports Network.